Hello and welcome to What's Carole Cooking. Today I'm going to be making some vegetable curry. We try to be vegetarian at least once a week. I'm trying to push it to twice a week, but once a week is pretty good for now. And the reason I love this recipe is because we can have it over 2 nights, even though I'm cooking for 4 people. And the second night is usually even better than the first because the spices have had time to blend and it's really delicious. So I'm just going to take you through the spices that I've chosen before we move over to the stove to start cooking. So I've got 2 tablespoons of curry powder, a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of garam masala, and 2 heaped teaspoons of salt. And then when I went to the store, I found these beautiful fresh curry leaves, and it just smells amazing. So I bought those and I'm going to pop them in near the end as well. So let's head over to the stove and start cooking. So we'll turn the stove onto medium and I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're just going to let that heat up for a little bit. So the oil is hot and I'm going to add 1 brown onion, which I've chopped roughly. Listen to that sizzle. And I've got 3 cloves of garlic, which I've chopped as well. And I've got 1 cayenne chilli, which I've sliced and I've kept the seeds in. So I'm just going to give that a stir and let it cook for a few minutes until it is translucent and soft. So this has been cooking for about 3 minutes and now I'm going to add in the spices and give that a stir. Just want to incorporate all the spices into the chili, garlic and onion. Now I'm going to add 1 capsicum, which I've chopped roughly. Give that a stir. And we're just going to let that cook for about a minute. So the spices are starting to smell and it's really good. Now I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes. And 2 cups of vegetable stock. Let's give that a little stir. And then I've got 1 sweet potato which I've peeled and chopped into pieces. And I've also got 1 head of cauliflower which I've chopped into pieces. Just add that in. And then we're just going to bring that to the boil. And then I'm going to let it simmer for probably about 5 to 7 minutes until the potatoes are relatively soft but still firm. And then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. So we're just going to pop a lid on that and let it cook. And I'll turn down the heat if it starts boiling too much because we really want it to simmer. So this has been simmering for about 20 minutes and as you can see the sweet potato looks really firm. It's not going to be mushy because we don't want it to be mushy. So now I'm going to add some chickpeas, a can of chickpeas, and I've rinsed them. Add that. I'm going to add some frozen peas. That's about a 3/4 cup. And then I'm going to add a bag of spinach. This is about 120 grams of spinach. Don't be alarmed. I know that looks like a lot, but it will wilt. So we're just going to give that a stir so that it wilts. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It is so good. And finally, I'm going to add those curry leaves. I had about 2 stems, and I've got some chopped cilantro, about a handful of chopped cilantro. And we're going to give that a good stir. Let that spinach wilt from the heat. And we're just going to let this cook for about 2 minutes with the lid off. And then it's done. You can see the spinach is wilting beautifully. You don't want it to cook too much because you don't want the cauliflower and the sweet potato to be mushy. Oh, just smells amazing now. Even more amazing now that we've got the curry leaves in there. And there you have it. So later this evening, when it's time for dinner, I'm going to be serving that with some roti, which we will show you then. So 2 minutes on the stove, and then turn off the heat, and we'll just let it sit in the juices and let it blend beautifully. So I really wish that you could smell this because it smells so good. I'm getting a hint of the curry leaves coming through in the smell, and as you can see, the sweet potato is still nice and firm, but the spinach and the curry leaves have wilted quite a bit. I've made some store-bought roti, which is really easy to make and really delicious, and of course you can serve it with basmati rice, yellow rice, long grain rice. So let's give this a go and have a taste. Oh, that is good. It is quite spicy because obviously I've put a whole chili in there, and I've also used garam masala. So if you don't want it to be spicy, don't use the chili, and reduce or take out the garam masala completely, and it won't be as spicy. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.